Hey, what's up everyone? Paul from Grindhouse Funhouse. I saw the Canadian premiere of Suitable Flesh here last night at the Fantasia Film Festival, the latest from director Joe Lynch, whose last trip to Fantasia was back in 2017 with his movie Mayhem. This time around, he's adapted an H.P. Lovecraft short story, The Thing On The Doorstep, and is scripted by longtime Stuart Gordon's collaborator Dennis Paholi. In fact, it's a movie Gordon and Paholi tried to get off the ground 20 years ago, which finally got made and turned into an homage to Gordon's work. And it's Joe Lynch taking a crack at it and succeeding? Alright, I mean, it is a loving tribute to Gordon and movies he's done, like From Beyond, starring Barbara Crampton, who's a producer on Suitable Flesh. In fact, she's the one who brought the story to Joe Lynch's attention. It also stars Heather Graham, Judah Lewis, Bruce Davison, and Johnathon Schaech. So what is Suitable Flesh about? It's about psychiatrist Dr. Elizabeth Derby, played by Heather Graham, who's in the middle of a session with a patient when Asa White, played by Judah Lewis, shows up unannounced, scared and asking for help. He seems to be having a mental breakdown, and after he's stricken by a seizure, he becomes more confident and aggressive in his approach with Dr. Derby. This seems to turn on Dr. Derby for some reason, as she becomes more involved with this young man that she just met, and she starts investigating on what can be causing all of this, which leads her down a path of she just shouldn't mind her own damn business. Of all the movies on my list to see at Fantasia this year, Suitable Flesh was in my top 5. I mean, from watching the trailer, I saw that it was a throwback to 90s erotic thriller a la sauce of a Stuart Gordon horror movie. And I dug the 70s throwback-looking poster. That was a big selling point as well. My expectations may have been too high on this one. It's not that it's outright terrible, it's just not great. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. It does have that 90s erotic thriller aesthetic to it, like if you were to tune into Cinemax on any given Saturday nights in the 90s, or you were to pick some random straight-to-video softcore TNA movie starring, say, Shannon Tweed, or Joan Severance at your video store. This would have been one of those. Sometimes it felt like an homage, but sometimes it almost felt like a parody. Intentionally or not, I do not know. It is a horny movie for sure, as fellow movie critics like to point out, but if you happen to be watching this movie strictly for the TNA, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but you only get quick flashes from Ms. Graham as the sex music plays in the background, and that's about it. Speaking of Ms. Graham, it's nice to see her again in a leading role after years of doing TV guest spots and supporting roles in forgettable movies. I have no doubt that she came to play for this role, but her playing the side of her being taken by the entity is not really believable. I can't buy her as being evil or even being a seductress while being possessed. Maybe she's done it better before in movies of hers I haven't seen, but here it just felt flat. But you know what? I'm hoping that from this movie, casting directors will see her performance and cast her in more things worthy of her talent and beauty. Her character in this one though, man, as a psychiatrist, she has no boundaries whatsoever. Her being turned on by this creepy kid and his multiple personalities just happens so fast and with no reason really. When she's got her hot beefcake husband, Johnathon Schaech, waiting at home ready and willing, and she chooses this little pipsqueak instead, I'm not buying it. Perhaps it was Asa White's performance at being all creepy, mysterious, and very forward that I wasn't connecting with. Edward Norton did something similar with his role in Primal Fear, minus being invaded by an ancient entity, and did the multiple personality bit much better. Speaking of the entity, it's an H.P. Lovecraft story after all. We see a quick flash of a drawing of the entity, tentacles and all, but it never manifests itself. We just know it's happening with all the seizure-like writhing they do on the floor, mixed with quick cuts and shaky cam effects when the body swap happens between characters, as it jumps from one body to the next. When it comes to other performances, the one I liked, Barbara Crampton, I mean, you had to have her appear in this movie, which she wasn't planning to do at first, but glad she did. Bruce Davison shows up briefly and hams it up pretty good. If you're waiting on the Stuart Gordon-like carnage and gore from Suitable Flesh, that shows up mostly towards the end. As you would expect, there's some pretty disgusting gore and gross-out gags. There was one creative kill which I have never seen before involving a car's backup camera. That was just fantastic. There's nothing really scary in this, even though there were so many jump scares. That was just annoying. We get a few iris out ending scenes, which stood out to me because I thought it was an odd artistic choice. And we get at the end a fourth wall breaking look into the camera from one of the characters that remains standing. And I was like, so yeah, I guess I was just not feeling it. I was expecting something better, and got just an okay experience, nothing more. So those were my thoughts on Suitable Flesh. Go visit all my socials at Grindhouse Funhouse in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on Suitable Flesh, and also let me know what is your favorite Stuart Gordon movie. More horror movie reviews coming up soon, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll say to you, ciao bye for now.